Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Paul, and I'm just trying to look at things that I'm curious about and things that I've looked into, I like to share. So in today's video, I wanted to bring up an idea, which is this. If you want to move forward, if you want to progress, go backwards. What do I mean by that? Essentially, I've been thinking about this and I've been having different conversations with people, and this is what I've come to, that some of the biggest reasons, or one of the main reasons why we don't progress in life, is because something in our past is holding us back. Okay. And so that's why I've started saying this. If you want to progress in life, then go backwards. So what I mean by going backwards is this. It's oftentimes not the practical things in life that stop us from what we're trying to do. It's not the lack of knowledge on something, although sometimes it is. Not saying it's not always the case, but most of the time it's not the lack of practical knowledge of moving forward. Most of the time it's not knowing the next steps, etc. Most of the time, it has to do with something in our past, and most of the time, it's an emotional connection. And so, when people think about, man, why am I so stuck? Why am I still in this phase of life? Why am I still here? Why am I still struggling with this? Why am I still, just ask that question for pretty much anything. You can almost always trace it back to something that's emotional and that's in the past. And so a lot of times for, let's say, the overachievers, sometimes they can push past multiple of these walls and keep progressing in life without moving forward. But eventually you see you really can't run away from your past, in meaning this: if you haven't dealt with it internally, externally is out of your control. But if you haven't dealt with it internally, eventually it's going to scream to the point where it says, give me the attention that I've been asking for, or else you're going to crumble and fall, right? And so that's a lot of times what we'll see with these really, really high achievers, is that they can push through, keep on trucking through as if, everything's fine. And then it all comes tumbling down. And then they go to therapy. Then they can find out, what went wrong. And then they trace it back to, oh man, maybe the reason why I'm doing all these things now is because of XYZ thing that happened in the past and I never dealt with it then. And so this is an outpouring of what that is, right? But for the rest of us who maybe aren't in that category, just blasting through walls, and maybe we found ourselves stuck on something that we can't quite figure out what it is that's blocking us. We want to say, oh, it's this, I don't know how to do this, or oh, I don't know anyone, to help me move forward with this. These are all just excuses. They're not the actual reasons. And so I want to encourage you, if you are wanting to progress, if you are stuck on something, most likely it has to do with something in the past, and it's emotionally keeping you there. And depending on how far back in the past that it is, will determine how deep within your subconscious that it actually is, which means it's going to take more time to dig. It's going to take more time to think, more time to sit back and go, man, what is it right now that's really stopping me? Okay. So if this resonates with you at all, one of the things that I've told people to do, and it helped even with myself, is if you take 10 to 15 minutes for 5 days straight, even if you want to even do it more than that, that's great. Just start writing out your story from 0 to whatever age you are now. Just start writing out your story. Okay. You want to get a clear idea of, okay, how did I become who I am today? What was the series of events in my life? What were the key events in my life? What was my childhood like? What was 0 to 5 like, if you can remember it, that? What was 5 to 10 like? What important events happened there? What was I like at that point? What was 10 to 15 like? What was 15 to 20 like? And move on and on and on to whatever your age is. Somewhere in there, the first day, you may get some random good memories, maybe some random bad ones. But by the third, fourth, or fifth day, you might start writing stuff and you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize that this was there. I didn't even realize that this was that deep in there. And then you might see yourself getting emotional. If you can see yourself getting emotional, especially at a bad event or a traumatic event, growing up, especially between the ages of 0 and 20, 0 and 18, you most likely are onto something there. So what happens is you don't just write the story out just to get clear. Then you start, once you have found these things out, which, by the way, if you haven't found them out after 5 days, just keep doing it. Just keep writing your story. It's just for you. It's just for you to know. So once you keep writing it out, once you find those stories that are there, your next job is to almost ask your younger self and go back and be like, hey, what did this event mean to you at this point? why did we react this way? What did it mean when whatever person did such and such thing or said such and such thing? Um, and why did that impact us the way that it did? And so you're almost going back in time. You're going back to your younger self, talking to your younger self, no judgment on your younger self, just compassion, and figuring out, oh, okay, this is why I changed at this point. This is what happened at this point. And now, yeah, that's true. Ever since then, I have been like this, right? And so that's the goal. Okay. Right now, you're whatever age. You find yourself maybe not being able to move forward in whatever area of life that it is. And I'm willing to bet it's due to an emotional thing in the past, not due. I'll give it 1% chance that it's due to some practical type of knowledge or lack of connection. But 99% chance it's due to something in the past. So take some time if you feel yourself stuck to write out your story. How did you become who you are today? What were the events that shaped you to be who you are? And figure out what those events meant to you at that time. And if you can, go back and have compassion on yourself and help redefine what those events were. And as much as possible, allow forgiveness to take place, whether it be with yourself or with the other people, even if you never see the other people, just maybe even in your own heart, to let the thing go, and so you can move on and heal from that and grow from that. All right. I hope that helps. With that being said, I will see you guys on the next one.